We have a Zerg versus Zerg for the ages here, ladies and gentlemen, and a very fast move from Hamster. I already don't know what's happening. Sziky in the top right is going to be our teal Zerg on Acid Test, a port of litmus from the latest ASL season, done by yours truly. Hamster in the bottom right is our midnight green Zerg, and he is going for a Kagrant, which will be a Larvosk. I hate this placement because it makes your mineral workers way less efficient, but that's okay. Hamster somehow makes that work all the time. I don't know how he does it. Hey, what's up? It's Concealed Organic. How are you, Hank Wanker? We've got, that's not just like a slur I said at him, by the way. That's his actual username. So if you don't like that I said that out loud, tell him to change his name. I don't know what to tell you. Pool halfway done for Sziky already. He's going to go much faster than before, you know, much faster than versus Terran. Knows that he doesn't have too many opportunities. Just wanted to scout what his opponent was doing, I guess. Later pool for Hamster, but he should be just fine here. But we'll see. Maybe I can be proven wrong. There's going to be 2 pairs of Zethicores made here by Sziky. Straight into the Larvosk. It is satisfying, as I said before, to see pro players adopt like strategies that Cosmonarchy players have already come up with, like the pool into Larvosk or Larvosk into pool, and like the more one-base oriented Zerg strategies. Again, I really want to see Zerg be able to go hatch first or early hatch in general at their natural. I think that would be super cool. But is it going to happen? Well, that's up to you guys. I mean, Cannoli was doing it. And then, you know, Sziky started to have a lot of success with it. But did people adapt their strategies really heavily? I don't know. I didn't see the games where Sziky went, you know, early hatch and then died because of it, right? I've only seen games where he's gotten into a pretty good playable position. Zethicore's already attacking Hamster. Poor Hamster, he has no idea. He's playing against a StarCraft 1 Pro. Watch out, Hamster. There's Zeths in your base. Now, there are Quas coming out, so he is going to need to get the hell out of Dodge soon if he wants to keep these Zethicores alive. And some of the units even getting decollided there, but somehow he only loses 1 Zeth. Well, never mind. On the way out, they have a Blizzardism. I do feel like as the second Larvosk finishes up here for Sziky, he will need to start making some more units, but he trusts in his early scouting to detect that, like, okay, you weren't going any air units, right? I saw you were harvesting gas. That could have been for Larvosk, but your pool wasn't morphing. Only now are you moving out? Okay, I'll save one of my Zeths, and now I'll start making combat units. I love that Sziky plays this way. Riding that line. Really playing against the edge of, like, what is possible, what is doable, what is sensible for me to do. I don't know what the second Kagrant or third Kagrant was exactly. That might have been a plan that has gone afoul since, but he has made his Vornath, so maybe it was going to be a Larvosk and he changed his mind. Either way, he's going to have Quas in time to defend this push. Not so scary here from Hamster. It would have been a little bit more scary if, like, a lot of time had passed, but that's not what we see. Instead, the Quas are already on the ramp, putting some damage down range. Hamster's Quas are going to fight up, but the reinforcements will be more than enough to clean it as predicted. Now, Hamster does have himself a Zorkish Shroud. Sziky, on the other hand, has himself a Vornath Pond. And I'm wondering what exactly he's thinking with that. Is he just going to go Zeth Vorv early on? Well, I guess so. He's making a couple. I don't see Vorvs versus Zerg very often, so this is going to be really interesting. Already chasing with all of his Quas, forcing the opponent back. What I really think the Vornath Pond is, in the modern era, is a stepping stone toward the Calcure Lake. And sure, you'll make some Vorvs because they cost minerals only instead of costing gas. But you save your gas for the lake, and then you save your gas for Lyrilisks. That's sort of my thought. I think Calculisks can also make a really good argument for themselves, although they are pretty gas-intensive at Tier 1. You don't have access to the Oxylcesians to skip the intermediary. You have to make Nathricores and then make the Calculisk. So, very, very different style. We do have a 6 Quas drop coming out of Hamster, earmarked for the main base, where there's only a Spraith right now. And there are Lakes coming as well for the hold. Now, Hamster might still just be in a lot of trouble here. There's a lot of Vorvs, and I think Sziky is one of the only Zerg players that makes almost all of his Zeths into Vorvs, but then they regress into Zeths afterwards. So it is a Zethricore delivery system, a missile, if you will, and I really don't think that the Quas are going to get much damage dealt, considering there are 7 pairs of Zeths being made at Ziky's base. It looks like Hamster's going to be overwhelmed. Really what matters is, can he use something with his Lakes without suffering too much damage? His workers are under attack. His Larvosk has been regressed. He only has 1 more. His larva production is so damn low, and the Lakes is actually dying before it can even burrow. Only one of them in the back line has actually been heckled, and the drop, at the other hand, it has been held at an arm's length by all the Zeth Vorv back at home. It is a disaster for Hamster, and Sziky will take game 1. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because even if you keep that lake as alive, I guarantee you will be eliminated. GG. There it is. Only slightly delayed. Hamster has fallen. Lads and lasses, Sziky in the top left. He is our... Celadon. Celadon Zerg. I was going to say asparagus. Hamster in the bottom right. Once again, Midnight Green Zerg. And this is Apollo by Biddy. It is a Class 1 map. We actually didn't end up picking it for Acropolis 3, mostly because of tile set. Even though it has some Ice World tiles ported in, we had a lot of platform in the last map, right? So in the last tournament. So we were like, okay, no more platform maps, you know? We made our selections. Hydrith opener, Hamster, are you trying Izira cores again? Hamster is notorious for his 4 Izira core rush. It's really funny because I think I've talked to you guys about this before. Maybe Sziky had already been on the receiving end of it from other players, or maybe I casted a Hamster Sziky match before, but I don't think I have. The reason why I point this out is because Hamster says, or other Zergs have said, this only works versus bad players. I think it was Neblime, maybe Hit 'em Up also said that. And Hamster's like, maybe I shouldn't try it versus Terran, because he was like trying it against Aoud and it really didn't do anything. That being said, I think it can do things. I'm just really interested to see if it works versus Sziky. Not that I think Zeke's a bad player, but knowledge checking is something that exists within Cosmonarchy. I was watching Ultra's stream yesterday, and he got knowledge checked pretty hard by Sausage, so no surprises there. But there's the 4 Izira cores on the way, so what will Sziky have? He'll have 2 pairs of Zeths. He might need a Circuith. Like, I don't actually know how it goes in ZvZ. I guess if you get enough Quas, you can deal with it, but he might actually need a Circuith. So he's making a second Kagrant. This will likely be a Larvosk. It's a little bit early for the Larvosk timing, but I'm sure that's what it's intended to be. If you guys are enjoying the stream, remember you can, and really, if you ask me, you should, donate to the stream to keep it going. $50 a day is our goal, but any bit helps. We got $3.33 earlier by Myriad. Much appreciated. You can go to streamlabs.com/Pronago and check that out. Now, first contact has already befallen Sziky. 2 Zeths hitting the deck. Hydrith then now started reactively, and this is actually a Circuith. I wonder if he was planning to go unit light, and that's why he goes for the Circuith here. Some prescience from Sziky. Doesn't realize how important that Circuith is going to end up being, because he can try to body block with the Zethra cores. Some Quasilisks are hatching. Hamster not happy about seeing a reactive Circuith already, but some Drolets are falling, and this is going to set Sziky, well, at least even, if not behind. He's actually down 4 workers already, but he has much more in the way of tech and larva production, right? Only now is Larvosk finishing up for Hamster. So Sziky shouldn't be too far behind, but this is advantage Hamster, for sure. You can see them just bullying the Zetracores that are trying to surround them. The Quas might be able to catch up with the Izzies, but no, it doesn't look like it. They will saunter off, Giga Chad style. Hydra's then now finished for Sziky. He's going to start Hydras, but his economy is very pitiful, and 2 of his workers weren't even mining for that. So that is a little bit unfortunate for him. By the way, this map does feature neutral bases in the corners. This was originally layouted as a sort of like spiritual successor or homage in some way to a map by Veek7 called Cold Sweat. So if you guys are OGs enough to remember that map, I believe it was in Acropolis 1 for the map pool. Or maybe it was Tyrant's Tale. I know it was in Tyrant's Tale, but I don't remember if it was in AC1. It might have been after that. But regardless, it was a map that has seen a sort of homage to it. And those neutral bases in the corners where you can use them to a good extent with your scout worker or something are indeed a part of it. Izira cores being focused down here. 5 HP on one of them. Hydra count pretty low on both sides. I feel a sneeze coming on. Hamster, are you making me allergic? I was allergic to seeing a Zetracore die, apparently. Well, this is ZvZ, so I might need to blow my nose a lot or something. Hamster has done pretty well to micro his units back, although I say that, maybe he lost his Izzies? Where did they go? They died. Okay, I was sneezing, and I sneezed them away. They went to another map. Sorry, guys. Acherosk finishes up for Hamster. So he's got momentarily a larva advantage right now over Sziky. Both of them keeping up, but obviously Sziky keeping up the pressure a little bit more. Even though he's got a smaller standing army. Now that the Hydra count is out in full force, we are going to need to see more military investment out of Sziky. He's adding his Vornath again. I do think that versus Hydrith units, the Vorv timing that Sziky went up to in the last game was definitely worthwhile. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens again. Loading up 3 Hydras into the Ovaleth. He will be earmarked for a drop. I don't usually like Hydra drops, but it might be good. I mean, there's no defenses for it. Sziky expanding his Kagra inside his base. He's got a second Larvos coming. What do we got for production on the other side? Skibacked and Eskagant coming for Hamster. No extra larva, though. He's got his 4 larva per 14 seconds. So Sziky's only sort of treading in that respect. He's coming back to the same level of larva production as his opponent, but he does have his Vorvs out already. So I will say his army is going to be a little bit more mobile than whatever Hamster ends up putting together, especially if Bactals are involved. Vorvs versus Bactals, depending on the engage, can absolutely shut them down because they just scream past all of the other units or go for a flank, and suddenly they just don't take as much damage. Third Larvos likely to be focused down here, honestly. Yep, that's exactly what I expected to see. If it's not canceled, Zeke's going to be in trouble. Yeah, no money back. And he can't even really punish the Hydras. So that was for free, sniping the player that was trying to supersede him in terms of larva. Hamster definitely managing much better in this game than on Acid Test. The Vorvs are moving across the map, which I do largely agree with. However, I don't think a bust is possible based on the double Circuit and the Hydra Izzy that's over here. So, you know, Tethfit Swamp coming as well. Okay. I mean, Hamster is equipping himself with some tools. I guess if he gets some Tetzoricors out, it'll be really hard for, like, the Vorv-based army that Sziky has to do anything. But the Calcure Lake is finishing up, and that's where I think things start to turn on their heads. Calculisks would be delicious right about now. But instead, he's going to go ahead and make himself some Lyrilisks. A lot of money in the bank. He'll take 12 o'clock. Love that 3-base gameplay out of Zerg. And yes, before you guys ask, if you're coming from StarCraft 1, it is very normal in ZvZ for 2-base play to be a guarantee. Not quite a guarantee. It's commonplace. Unless the game ends super early, it's very, very commonplace. Oh, no! Hamster ends up absent-mindedly flying his transport into defensive units. I will say that is a flaw that Hamster has, generally speaking. Third base now coming for him as well. Keeping scale with his opponent. And adding another Larvosk in the process. Did we ever get another Larvosk for Sziky? It doesn't look like it. He's still a little bit down in terms of production. And the Tetzoricors are indeed out. So this unit, once upon a time, its main goal was to just do as much damage as it could to all units around it and lifesteal. It still has that goal, but it also has access to the same ability that the Zarkavrakor has, which is a Gorgakor mutation, where when it takes damage, it retaliates with a spike in the direction of whoever attacked it. Catching a Lyrilusk is pretty big there. Individual units don't matter that much in these kinds of fights, but can be impactful. Anyway, watch out for the Tetzoricors. They might take a very, very long time to focus down. Vorvacor's helping with their armor rend, though. That's really, really big. Looks like we still have a good number of them. They're taking a long time to whittle down, and during this time, the Hydras are at large. Meanwhile, the Ovaleth catching so many of those Lyrilusks instead of allowing them to fight with the against the ground. Those two Tetzoricors on very, very low HP values, definitely worth their weight in minerals and gas. But mostly minerals, as they are quite a low gas unit. Zeke's taking the worker advantage, but it's pretty minimal, and both players are starting to harvest from their third bases. Static defense erecting at 12 o'clock for Sziky. Not so for Hamster. He's just getting straight to mining instead. Many more workers available right now for our StarCraft 1 Pro, though. Hungary versus Russia is the matchup right now, if you guys care about the continental parts, the country-based parts. Interesting circuit placement. I guess it's anti-drop. But, yeah, after Newt, like, unloads here and then runs up or whatever, I can see it. Iral Iris starting for Hamster. He does not want to stick around on Tier 1, even though he's explored exactly 1/3 of the units available to you. In terms of what he's got access to, not in terms of what he's made. I guess it would be closer to like a quarter of the units that he's made. Anyway, bottom line is there's a lot of units in Cosmonarchy. A lot of flexibility. But Hamster, he wants something in Tier 2. 3 I0 cores in an Obeleth, earmarked for that mineral line in the main base, you can tell. This is a map where your third does not protect your main from drops. You need to take a fourth for that, or I guess a fifth in Zyky's case. So that's something to keep in mind. I think Hamster is taking a more conventional expansion layout, and he'll probably take this as his fourth towards the 3 o'clock position, with the express idea of protecting his main from drops. And air raids. Iral Iris complete. We'll see what Hamster wants to do with that. Just a couple of units moving back and forth. Sziky is rocking out with his pretty big army right about now. And only 3 I0 cores. I mean, there is the double circuit to defend this, actually. I thought Hamster would go straight for the mineral line. But as it currently stands, their I0 cores are not even able to attack. He does shut down mining for the time being, but pulling away Zyky's attention might be enough for him to try to come across this ramp over here, this bridge, rather. I0 cores will finally be dealt with, and the workers are returning to their harvests. We saw the gas cap for Hamster, at least in terms of, yeah, his natural only now, but his main a long time ago. Sees the third base well staffed. Nothing at 6 o'clock. Sziky knows it. All right, here we are. Some basilisks have been made for Zyky's side. I think his army is in a pretty good position here. But again, those Tetzoricors are in a much bigger count now. And again, the I0cores will have a hard time against the Lyrilisks, but the basilisks are getting run down on, and that means that their bounce attacks are just nothing. Hydras are coming out. That's really, really good versus the armored targets instead. The basilisks don't struggle as much, and so this will be a kill for Sziky in terms of the army. But Tier 2 is indeed present. Oh, some Vorv run-bys over here trying to focus down workers. Really good shift targeting here for a little bit there. You could tell that they were queued to attack those. And it does look like Hamster's in trouble. His Tier 2 might have been a little bit too fast. His fourth base at that 3 o'clock location, as predicted. But scouted out by Sziky and maybe forced to defend it while the main army is on the way. Instead, they're going to wrap around and try to go down the ramp, cycling over to force a cancel onto this hatch, which was already, looks like, dead to rights. Will Hamster cancel it in time? No. It looked like he looked over there, too, and he's just like, nah, I have money. Convolisks are being made. The Matraval Nest was the tech du jour of Hamster. I don't know how to say that in Russian, so I said it in French. 16 I0 cores about to hatch. Oh, the Convol is getting jumped on immediately. That would have been a good choice there, I think, from Mr. Sziky, but he doesn't end up following in on it, because that would have just sniped out the only tech over here. Now, that being said, the Khazithrith is up, so you do have to respect this. All units with that yellow overlay have extra attacks. A Vorv run-by tries to get past all the I0 cores, and I guess maybe a third of them do. And there's not very many defenses in here, but it's more than enough to deal with this. So just kind of distracting, sowing the seeds of chaos, and then trying to fall back over the ramp, over the bridge, but a little bit difficult there for Sziky to do. Has to think about what his tech path is out of this, because his gas count is very, very low. He has not capped any of his nodes, I've noticed, and he's slowed his harvest over there at 12 o'clock. He is taking a fourth base. I mean, he's taking it, but he's making workers for it now. We'd love to see a transfer out of the main base here. Oh, Apollo is also a 1500 mineral map, by the way, so main bases are starting to deplete, or have mostly depleted already. Most maps these days are made with 2K. It's just kind of a new, you could call it standard that we're going for. The Iroleth with the Scorchrith Cesium. Now, Hamster's favorite unit is the Iroleth because it can pick up the advanced static defense, but I actually don't think that Sziky is going to be too bothered by this, you know what I mean? He's got units all over the place. He probably wasn't expecting a static defense structure to come out of there, but it's not so static now, is it? Well, while he's trying to deal with this, with a couple of Hydras pinched off for it, should be more than enough. Hamster is moving across the map, but without his Khazithrith to really multiply the power of his few Convolisks, I don't know if he's going to be able to overwhelm what Sziky has. This is a really bad fight for our Hungarian, though. Starting to add a couple more units. You can see him making 9 Hydralisks and a Tetzoricor, actually, on his side, but not quite done yet. And the Basilisks that are closer to that bridge are just getting shellacked. Run down. The swath of meat that Hamster has right now is overpowering, overwhelming. All of the Lyrilisks have died, and that's most of the armor pen in this comp. Now, there are a lot of Hydras still. Should be able to deal with these I0 on the front line, but how do you get to the back? Thankfully for Sziky, Hamster's Convolisks were not involved in most of that fight. That would have been a very, very different fight if they were. would have been almost disastrous. You can see now Hamster trying to fall back away. I don't actually know if there's enough chase potential. One Hydra in the middle of this not yet mining 4th base. Very interesting. Just kind of scouting around, ends up trying to make the most of it. Kills a couple of workers and distracts Hamster a little bit. But yeah, punishing some of the army. We do have more military units in the bank here, but Hamster actually not really building so many. He's got a big bank, but he's not making too many units right now. 18 Hydras instead. Yeah, why not? Spend down what I got. I think maybe his larva count is a little bit low. Oh no, maybe he just doesn't have these hatches on hotkey. Not really entirely sure. Obviously made many rounds of Drolats here to saturate that 4th base, so might be why. Sziky's still a little bit under the pump worker-wise. But he will have a pretty good army. I feel like he needed to go. I feel like he needed to attack. His Thraitholeths are on the way. The upgraded Matraval Nest providing access to those. And that's coming straight out of the Oxel season, if I'm not mistaken. Tier 2 now started for Sziky. Precarious position in the main base, but all right. Orchestra cores are absolutely absurd, I feel like. I haven't actually seen too many of them in action. And that hatch is going to have to get canceled by Hamster, surely. Does he know? Oh, he's trying to maybe defend it instead. Over here, the Drolats are being heckled at this base, and you can see him pulling away, but that hatch is going to die. Oh, no, just narrowly saved. I can't believe... I would have thought that would have died. So, Hamster, hats off to you, son. I don't know how you realized that would happen, but good job. It feels like with no Vespene caps here, Sziky is starting to fall behind. Maybe he has been falling behind in terms of Vespene. Tekara cores are coming. Expect a lot of Rillisks, little flying broodlings, you can call them. And I just don't really know if Sziky has enough units to deal with that. I also don't think he's going to have the luxury of being able to choose when the fight happens and under what conditions. 5th base has just now popped for Hamster. You can see it popping for Sziky over here as well. So they are mirroring each other in terms of base count, in terms of where they're going. They took a different path to get there. Matraval Nest now for Sziky. Okay. He wants to maybe fight fire with fire. There's many more structures you can make. The Mutat Spire, I would love to see at some point, but obviously we're a ways off that being considered meta. I think the Sikralisks would help Sziky out a lot. Tekara Core is frontlining. They are a melee unit, but good luck. Good luck trying to deal with them. Oh, it warms my heart. When's the plague? When plague? Tekara Core is just kind of getting shellacked right now. Not really able to engage onto the fight. I'm still waiting to see the plagues. They could definitely help out quite a bit. But the Carapace Swarm kind of used against Hamster there, even though it was his own. Yeah, now he's trying to put him down underneath his own. Absorbs up to 1,000 damage. Very, very impactful there before it ends up collapsing. Still no plagues. No, there is a plague field, but he can't pop them. He's too busy trying to deal with the front line there. Yeah, multiple plague fields. Really, really good there. You can't stand and fight underneath that. You got to wait for it to go away. Bit of an impasse these two players find themselves at now. Waiting for the next round of units and reinforcements. Tekara Cores come in to try to pop as many units as possible with their splash, but oh man, actually, the plague ends up getting doubled down afterwards. That was really good combo. They just spread the plague everywhere. It's all over Sziky's army. He still has some Convolisks hatching. Maybe he can make something happen here, as most of the DPS is actually gone from Hamster's army. Oh my god, the plagues are outrageous right now. And the Carapace Swarm to try to defend as well. But you can't kill the Rillarok Core, buddy. You've got no melee. Sziky trying to make some Vilgoricores of his own. You can turn those into his Thraitholeths if you have the upgrade. Dactyl's moving forward. Another Carapace Swarm, but no, you don't want to use it there. That's not where you want to put it. That just shields your enemy. His melee just dealing so much damage. Eventually it'll be taken care of. The Convolisks on both sides trying their best. Sziky is locked in combat with Hamster right now. He has not really focused on much of anything as far as production. Now he's starting to spend down some of his larvae. A lot of minerals in the bank. A Mutat Spire started for Hamster behind this, but it looks like Hamster's pushing in pretty heavily, and every base matters a great deal right now, as Sziky is actually down a mining base. He is not mining from his 5th base. Can't say the same about Hamster at 6 o'clock. So this is looking like a Hamster victory right now, unless he can be routed. I think he's broken through. Sziky's making 15 Hydras, but that will not help you. That will not wipe this army. The battle is already won, it feels, but Hamster collecting himself on the precipice of defeating a StarCraft 1 Pro. Mini Carapace Swarms trying their best to shield the Vilgoricores. They do really well against Factalisks, but they are being overwhelmed. GG is called, and Hamster can scarcely believe it drops only 1G. And that is a tie set between these two. Now, I don't know the fate of a third game because the replay didn't work, but I will say that was a really, really good ZvZ. I love ZvZ.